In the world of high art, a single brushstroke can ruin a priceless painting, and restorers often call it a fracture. We left the last episode looking at a perfectly curated reality. God, Adam, and Eve, who all shared the exact same profound black silhouette. And they were structurally unified and cut from the same divine cloth, living within the intentional parameters of the Garden of Eden. But today, we turn the page to Genesis chapter 3, which is a line about to be drawn that shatters the composition. And this isn't just an ancient story about a piece of fruit. This is a masterclass on how the human soul became fragmented. You see, God is trying to tell you something about the origin of the friction, the shame, and the hiding you experience in your life right now. So let's watch the day the masterpiece broke. Enter the antagonist of the gallery, aka the serpent. In art history, subversion rarely happens through a loud and sudden destruction. It's usually through a slow and clever deconstruction of the original design. In the serpent's mythology, he doesn't invent a brand new reality. He takes the words of God and subtly shifts the typography, saying, "Did God really say that?" And this strategy is to break the trust in the curator, or aka God's character. He convinces Eve and then Adam that God is a restrictive tyrant that is holding out on them. And if they just take this fruit, they can become their own God. They can dictate their own boundaries of good and evil. So this is a birth of autonomy apart from design. They bite, and the moment they take which was not gifted to them, all of a sudden the composition fails. The light that surrounded them recedes. The text says their eyes were open, but they didn't see glory. They saw their own naked emptiness and shame. And for the first time, the solid black silhouettes of their identity feels completely exposed and unsafe. So what do you do when you realize you have ruined the canvas? You hide. The humans retreat into the shadows of the background, but listen to the pacing of this narrative, right? God walks into the garden in the cool of the day. He doesn't enter with a lightning bolt of erasure. He enters with a question. Where are you? So as a master communicator, God knows exactly where they are. He's asking a question to see if they will own the fracture that just happened. But sin deforms our ability to be honest. Adam immediately blames Eve and implicitly blames God for creating her. Eve blames the serpent, and all of a sudden the lines of the relationship are completely tangled in this awkward resentment. So, consequences are handed down. The ground is cursed with thorns and introducing friction to labor. Childbirth is marked by pain and introducing friction to life. But watch the grace of God. Even in the middle of this broken design, he doesn't just abandon the canvas. He looks at their flimsy and desperate attempt to cover themselves with fig leaves, and he replaces them. The text says God made them garments of skin. So think about the profound art history shift here that's happening. To cover their exposure, a blameless animal had to shed its blood. And God introduces the concept of a substitute. And this substitute is for humanity to be covered, a sacrifice that must take the stroke of the pencil. So at this point, the original gallery is officially closed. Humanity is expelled from the Garden of Eden. And to a modern viewer, this looks slightly harsh, right? It's an angry eviction. But through the lens of divine curation, this is only an act of ultimate protection. Because if God allowed sinful, fragmented humans to stay in Eden and eat from the tree of life, well, they would live forever in a fixed state of brokenness. You see, the artist has to remove them from the environment to prepare them for a restoration. At the threshold, he places the ultimate parameter, right? A fierce garden by the holy spaces and a flaming sword turning every way to guard the path to the tree of life. And at that point, the gate is sealed, it's closed. And the shared silhouette is now living in exile. So what exactly is God, aka the creative director, trying to tell you in Genesis 3? He's explaining the architecture of your pain. He's telling you why the world feels broken, why the shame makes you want to hide, and why your relationships require so much labor. We're all living on the outside of that eastern gate, feeling the same weight of that fracture. But do not miss this hidden composition of this ultimate tragedy. God did not throw the canvas away. When he clothed them in his skin, he set a prototype in motion. Look closely at the flaming sword at the gate of Eden. The way back to life requires passing through the fire of divine judgment. So of course, centuries later, God himself will step onto the canvas of history in the person of Jesus Christ. He's not going to dismantle the guard or extinguish the flame. Instead, he will walk straight into the stroke of that turning, fiery sword on a hill called Calvary. He took the cut so the perimeters of the garden could be open to you once again. You see, this canvas is fractured, but the master artist, God, is already sketching the rescue. Join us next time for episode 3, The First Murder. God is trying to tell you something, and I hope you are listening.